Hello, can you hear me now? Oh, great. Thank goodness for that. I had a few technical issues earlier. It was all working at half past one when I did the I just tested the system. And then I went to make a cup of coffee. One of the club members came in and joined me just to have a chat. And for some reason, I lost picture and microphone, and I couldn't get it back. And I was hoping once we went live, it would work. But for some bizarre reason, it wasn't working. So I've had to end the stream and start again. So sorry, guys, about that. Really apologise for the late starting. But as you can see, we are working now. We're back on. I've got Martyn in the. I'll bring in now. So Martyn, you're ready to come on? So do a split screen. Hello, Martyn. I can't hear you, Martyn. Okay, we lost Martyn, so I'll carry on talking. So welcome to the Warley studio. Well, this is in my home, as you can probably see. Unfortunately, the Warley club is closed at the moment. We've had to close the club down for COVID because Birmingham and Sandwell and the West Midlands are in Tier 4. So unfortunately, the club is closed. But what we want to do, we want to bring some modelling still to show we're still around, we're still going, we're still all the members are still working away and modelling away. So it really is a case of to show we're still going live, still trying to do live stuff. It's very difficult as a club to record content when we can't be actually in the club room because most of the modelling takes place in the club room. So again, the reason why I've got this sort of studio on the back of my house is just so I can it's so we can I can bring modelling to you. So what we'll do, I'm hoping Martyn will join us again in a moment. Just wait for him to come back in, and we've got some modelling we can do. But if I can, I will have take you a bit of a tour around my hobby room and what I've been up to and what I'm up to with the lockdown modelling. So John, welcome to the stream, John. Thanks for joining us. So are you a member of the Southampton club? I'm guessing you are, but welcome to the stream. Thanks for joining us. Martyn just texted me to say he's got a few problems now, so he's working on getting back into the back into it as soon as possible. So I'm going to. I don't know if there's any of the Warley members who are in the group chat around. If they want to join in on the they're welcome to join me on the stream at some point today. It's only going to be probably an hour and a half. It depends. Obviously, depends how it goes, and depends how many of you guys are are joining us and enjoying it. Again, if you've got any questions, just throw it in the comment section. And we'll try and answer it as much as possible. but I think Martyn's back.
I am. Can you hear me?
Hey!
Can you hear me as well? Yeah.
I can hear you now. Yeah.
Right, okay, so we're on my. We're not on the all singing, all dancing. Unfortunately, we're on my webcam for that. So I'm going to move the move the video over now, or the laptop over, so you can see what I'm doing. But yeah, how are we all? Everybody, how is everything?
I'll be good, Martyn. Good to see you on the Warley channel again.
Yeah, brilliant. Thanks for having me, Andy. Brilliant. Always a pleasure coming on you guys. Yeah, you know what I mean. It's always a bit of fun and what do I call it? A bit of a joke. So I'm just moving over my my laptop because you can imagine we had the live stream this morning and then it's gone crazy. So you can see me now. I'll chat if I'm waddling. We'll chuck stuff up on the front. You know what I mean, in front of the camera and stuff like that. So yeah, good. How are you, mate? How was everybody?
Well, about 15 minutes ago, I was absolutely ripping my hair out because I couldn't get everything was working at 12:30, 1 o'clock. I did a test. I went to make a cup of coffee, and I come back, and one of the members said, "Oh, I'll come and say hello." So I let him into the stream, and then all of a sudden, all my cameras went. They wouldn't let me unmute my microphone. I couldn't get the cameras back. I switched it off, back on again, and it's working.
Mate, trust me, I've had yesterday, 5:30 yesterday, I plugged something in and boom, all my settings went out. So I was like, oh my God. And you know what I mean? I come in at 7 o'clock this morning to do some work for one of the other companies. And oh my God, you know, it's just a panic then at 9:30 trying to get everything sorted and everything. Well, so technology is not meant to work, is it? Let's face it.
No, not at all. I've got another camera set up and I'm scared to death to switch it on now in case.
Yeah, you saw my stream earlier on. I got 3 cameras around it. I mean, I got a 4th one, but like you said, I didn't switch it because it'll just go poof, and then you're, oh God, here we go again. Yeah. So what have you been up to, Anne?
Well, I've got me modelling. If I can get the phone to work again, which is, I don't know what caused the problems earlier, so I can be a bit worried about everything at the moment. But if I can get my camera to work on my phone, I'll show you around the studio to see what, so you can see what's going on really. Copy link. So this is all very much making up as we go along, to be fair.
Well, yeah, same as mine. Like somebody said, winging it. You know what I mean? So, so yeah, we wing it, mate. You know what I mean? So, you know what I mean? I am modeling. I'll show you. You crack on first, and then I'll show you what I've been doing on.
I'm still waiting to get for it to come up. I'm backstage apparently, but there's no one there. That sounds about right, doesn't it? Lights on, no one home.
Lights on, no, yeah.
So it's copy.
Well, we got a couple of people in there, mate. You know what I mean? So
we got 15 joining us. Thanks for joining us. We had 20 earlier, but for some bizarre reason,
I joined and they left.
There you go. I've got my camera up. Yeah, I'm turning my camera off. That's why.
Yeah. Turn the sound off on your phone.
There you go. That's working now. Thanks, Martyn. Okay, so I'm going to add my camera to the stream now. So if you can see round. So basically, this is my studio. So there's the office I've got, which is basically the hub of Warley's secretary's bit, where I'm doing all my admin bit side. But then I've got all my paints along the top. There's my spray booth area and my second camera. And I suppose what people really want to see is the lockdown modelling. So it's mainly Pico wheels, warehouse units. I've got a Magnum R kit I've started. So I don't know if anyone's seen Everard Junction. I talked to Richard quite a lot to get some advice. So scale model scenery building there. All these are Pico Whirls. So hopefully you get a good idea of what we're up to and what we're working on. There you go. It's a club project I'm doing, just for lockdown free, to keep us out of mischief, really, more than anything. And the best bit for me is having a nice little wood.
Yeah, that's lovely. That is nice and toasty.
And the other thing I've got, which I like, is I've got a light above me, so I've got loads of natural light.
Natural light. Yeah. My office is as black as you can see it. I mean, I get as many lights on as we possibly can, just to try and keep me bright. I mean, because I'm internal as well. That's another thing. So, I mean, at home is different. Like you said, I'm on the kitchen table and I got 2 double French doors, and I mean, it's nice. The light comes in then, but yeah, natural light is massive in it. I mean, you see so many different things when you go natural, or I mean, and the white light is it's different modelling, really, isn't it?
Absolutely, you can't beat natural light, and having the sort of skylight right above me, it makes so much difference. And being sort of almost like a semi-conservatory, I've got so many windows, and that's why I got the windows open, because it's a bit warm in here at the moment.
Is it purposely built then for your hobby room, or is it? I
had it built just before Christmas. Well, they started it in October. And it was built just before Christmas, but nice. I've still not finished it, so I've still got painting to do. And
that matters, modelling first, don't it? You know what I mean? So
absolutely. Spend about an hour or so doing some, decorating every day, and filling holes in walls and stuff, and plastering, and then you think, I'll go back and model.
Yeah, exactly. You get bored and everything. I mean, I think big like that. Yeah, get on to the small stuff is easier.
Definitely, it's much easier to paint a person rather than paint a room.
Exactly, and I mean that's the biggest door I ever paint. You know what I mean? So well, that's pushing it. You know what I mean? So it's crazy. It's crazy how, I mean, like a scratch building. You're doing much scratch building, because I've seen there's a lot of like wills and SMS and stuff like that on there. So,
like, I tend to, being a bloke, I don't read instructions. So I'll buy a couple of kits and I'll pull them together. So I'll use different parts for different kits to get different effects.
We never read instructions, mate. Nobody reads this. You know what I mean? A female might, but one mate, no. You know what I mean? It's wing it, as we say. You know what I mean? So.
Absolutely. But the Wells kits out of the box, they're probably going to be too small for what I need, so I'll combine the two. I'll go and grab it. So it's actually two buildings.
Yeah, that's it. One. To improve it, yeah, that's it. That's a good
really makes a big difference. It still needs weathering.
My favourite bit right now is weathering. I mean, I don't know. I'm doing this one. The one that I'm doing on my stream is 1/35th. You know what I mean? And I'm love putting all the new techniques that I'm learning. You know what I mean? Because as modelers, we're always learning, and we would never. You know what I mean? There's no expert out there.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Because I might know something that other person doesn't, like, you know what I mean? And so you teach them, and then they teach them, and then we're always learning, like, you know what I mean? Which is great, you know what I mean? It makes it fun, doesn't it? You know what I mean? So,
I don't just use model railway modelers as inspiration. There's so many good channels out there that aren't just railway modelling. If you look at the Armour guys, they're so good at panel lines and panels and fading, and and a lot of their techniques I just bring into railway modelling. It's it's a good way to learn by looking at other people and what they're doing and how they do it. It's not a train, but matter does it really?
No, and it's all about doing it as well, and having the guts to do what you built that lovely building, or you built that lovely truck. And then you go right, put some paint on it, and have the guts to put the paint on it, and to make sure that it cocks up. It doesn't matter. If you make a mistake, it turns into a good idea. That's what you hear me say that all the time. You know what I mean? Because it's the bravery of that's the other thing. It's the bravery of a prestige model. You know what I mean? It's like a logo, I suppose. You spend a stupid amount of money on a logo, and then you trust someone or yourself to dirty it up, like, you know what I mean? And it's, would I have the guts to do that? I don't know. You know, especially airbrushing.
No, airbrushing's great fun. And I learned a lot about airbrushing by buying Airfix models. Because it was just a cheap way to get started.
Yeah.
You know, the £15-20 Airfix Spitfire, you can put it together, throw it together in about an hour. But then you can spend hours painting different techniques, trying different things. I love my airbrush. You know, I wouldn't be without it. It's brings a lot to the hobby, and you just got to have a go.
Of course you have. Well, that one there now. I might airbrush that yet. I don't know. You know, I don't do a lot of airbrushing at the moment. I'm a home tradition. I come from a model painting, which is that big, like, you know what I mean. So I love my brushes. I find with my airbrush, it goes everywhere. I airbrushed something yesterday, and I was like, oh my god! It's good. You know what I mean? Different techniques. I suppose if you're doing it all the time, you're gonna. You know what I mean? We got a model paint shop coming up soon. It's got everything. Like, it's got Tamiya. It's got the Tamiya tape, plastic tape, tape up, all sorts of things. The military model side of it's massive. Like, you know what I mean? So, yeah, I'm looking forward to playing with some of that if they allow me. So, whether they do allow me to play with it, that's the thing. Like, you know what I mean? So, yeah, it's crazy. There's my airbrush is down there. So I got a one with a tank.
Yeah, I've got a tank on the bottom of mine. You definitely need a tank because it's. I
had one without. And it was you don't get it, dude. It's not powerful enough, and you do get that dip and up and dip and up. You know what I mean? Where the tank is more, it's more consistent.
Well, I started with the Humble one with a little gas jar on the bottom.
Oh yeah,
that's my first airbrush, and I got the cartridge. You supposed to buy the cartridge with compressed air.
Yeah.
So I started off with that, and it almost put me off because it was it was very hard to get the paint to flow nicely from below, but also with a compressed can, you get that different. You can't get the controlled flow of air into the
consistency is wrong, isn't it? I mean, so yeah. Well, I'm lucky if I say, you know what I mean. Look, I think we should invest in one of these. Then they tend to listen to me, the stupid fools. And then we buy something, you know what I mean, and then I'll have a go, or if I'm crap at it, it goes in the cupboard somewhere. So, you know what I mean? Or I give it to Dave. Then Dave, he can play with it then as well. You know what I mean? So yeah. Yeah, so we, you know, I mean, I'm learning different techniques. So we're using this at the moment, which is latex glue for weathering. I'm enjoying that. That's, you know, I mean, I got some really good results. I've just started doing the front of that, so you can see just the frame of the building. Yeah, there. You know what I mean? They're just starting to bring the paint off, and I just done the door there. So I started practicing. I practiced on a piece of old gold sword. You know what I mean? Like I always say, practice first before you even start. Like, you know what I mean? And then, you know, how many models have I chucked out because I said, nah, just crack on. And no, you can't. You know what I mean? So the next stage is to do the whole building. So that's why I thought, like, we'll start small. We do the small bit first, and then go from and then go to the biggest one. It's huge. You know what I mean? I spent weeks building this, you know what I mean? So it's you put time and effort into it. I've got like this, the barnacles on there. That was something that the camera's not too good, but I have done a smaller one there, so that might be working. You see, with the barnacles on there, you know what I mean? Somebody on the Facebook group said, you know what I mean? Use ballast, fine ballast, and then paint it the right color. And my God, it's come out really, really smart. You know what I mean? So. It's like I said, no, you're always learning. Who knew? You know, I was going to sculpt barnacles on there with green stuff, and you know, I mean, that's making my life so much easier. Otherwise, it would never be.
So, can you tell us any more about this mud that you're looking at, Martyn? Because that'd be interesting to me.
Yeah, I have got. So we've got 5 different colours. and 3 different types in that range. Yeah, so we got a smooth wet mud. Okay, so it dries wet. There's a bit of oxymoron there, I know, but it's got that shiny texture to it, and that's sort of something. There's an exclusive here. Like, I haven't even shown that on my own thing there, so he's always plugging me for an exclusive. Yeah, so that's one of the sort of the colours. I apologise for the camera because it's honestly on the laptop. And we've got 5 different colours in wet. Then we got a fine textured one which dries dry, but you can add then the smooth texture over the top of it to make it wet. Or we've got the water, so you can add ripples, you can make waterfalls, icicles, that type of thing. We've produced that. I worked with a chemist to get a good mixture for that. And then obviously the muds then come into it, where we got smooth, which is wet, fine, which has got a fine textured, and then a coarse, which has got nice big bits of rock and stuff like that in there as well. Again, that's dry. Yeah, but again, you can add then the water clear that we got over the top, which brings it back to a bit of wet. Yeah, and then on top of that, then and another exclusive for you, because I haven't mentioned it on our web, we're hopefully going to be bringing in a deep water as well. Yes, deep cast water. You know, I mean, it comes about a centimeter but you can add on top of it then as it dries off. So it cures within 20 hours. You can add on top then to get your bulk, your depth. But you know, I mean, that's good enough for most modelers. Like, unless you're doing a proper, you know, I mean, you're looking, you either got shallow water or you got deep water. I mean, and with that, then we're trying to do a fishing scene and a river scene and stuff like that, where we're going to get our resin model coming out then, which is your fish and your shopping trolleys and if you come out, put it around your cars and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Rent out cars and really bridges and stuff. So yeah,
I was going to say, that's definitely a Birmingham thing. Supermarket trolleys and canals.
Yeah, it's a Welsh thing as well, I think. You probably nobody find a cat with it or something like that. So yeah, these are just literally open up, paste on with a brush or you know what I mean, or spread or something like that. A lot of them military boys use these muds quite a lot. That's why I produce them. Developed by myself. I've tested them out. It's taken so long because you've got to do it like a long test to make sure it doesn't go white or something like that. And they've come back fine, really good. So we're looking hopefully roughly about probably mid next month, end of this month, that we're going to be ready. We're starting to do videos now. I know Dave did a couple of videos. I took a photo of him doing some this week. So he's got ready for WWG. And I'm doing some next week then with Josh on a diorama that I'm doing, a little end gauge diorama I'm doing with the water going through as well. Like, I mean, so yeah, so some new product going there. Which is exciting, you know what I mean? It'll be a long time coming because I keep promising people and they keep saying, when's it coming up? When, especially you keep nagging. You
got a nag.
Yeah. Oh, I got a lot of nagging people, you know what I mean? So
one of the things I'm hoping to do on mine is on our build for the Lockdown 3 build is a muddy track with car prints in, like a driveway, like a gully. Will you be able to get those sort of effects by running a tyre through? Will it hold its sort of shape? And
yeah, it is a thick cream. Yeah, so you should be able to run a wheel through it. Yeah, you know, I mean, as long as you got that wheel turning to get that track going, otherwise you're just gonna have a sludge. You know what I mean? Make sure that you can turn it and stuff like that. Well, you know, and I mean, teaching to suck eggs. It should hold. It will hold like that. It holds. Well, I'll show you later. Here's a thing. So, you know, I mean, do the trick.
Splodge.
Yeah, that would have been a nightmare to get up. So it's air dry. Yeah. So it does take a while to dry. You know what I mean? That takes about roughly around. That could be about 24 hours for it to dry. It might take longer in some cases, especially if it's thick. And the skin over as well, so it'll still be a sort of mushy underneath. So sometimes you might have to, and this is for everybody's product, just to pinprick it just so the air can get into because it's like anything, it's skin over, and there's a bit of a big blodge that'll stay wet underneath, because the air's not getting to it. But yeah, you know, I mean, I've used them on certain projects, and yeah, they're coming up great. It's coming up lovely. To be fair, I'm chuffed with them. You know, what I mean, it's just like our weathering powders. They've come out really, really well. You know, what I mean, people love them. They can't get enough of them. You know, what I mean, we can't keep them in stock. So yeah, you know, what I mean, I'm chuffed with these as well. That adds to the diorama, the scenery that we are. Like, you know, what I mean, like I said, we're not a railway company. We're a scenery company. So,
Yeah.
and I don't want to be known as the static grass man. I'm sick of that now. So. We're trying to produce new products, like, you know what I mean. So,
No,
you seem to have a lot of people in it.
What's that?
You seem to have a lot of people in.
Yeah, we've got up to 6. We had up to 20 watch viewing a few minutes ago, down to 16 at the moment. But yeah, it's good stuff. It's the first time we've done a live stream during the daytime during lockdown. So apart from our virtual show, it's trying to give people a bit of an outlet on an afternoon and middle of the week when people are starting to get a bit brassed off. Hopefully we can get have a bit of a laugh and bring different people in. So we've obviously got you today. We've got I don't know if you know Barry Oliver, he's more of a brethren modeller. He's part of the Leeds Model Railway Society and Club, and he's also a member of Warley. He's going to join me next week to have a bit of a chat about brethren and there's lots of different techniques, but that should be a good. Should be a good view next week as well. But obviously this week we've got you, so you're kicking things off.
Yeah, excellent. I never shy away from a camera. You know me. So.
Absolutely. So
it's weather, and I should tune in for that because something I'm trying to sort of not master, because I don't think that's the wrong word, because I don't think there is a master in, like I said, in modeling, because we're always learning, but certainly pick up some techniques and stuff like that. Like, you know what I mean? So, I'm not an expert by no means. Like, you know what I mean? I know how to put some grass down, but I'm a young modeler at the moment. Like, you know what I mean? So I only I 10 years ago I started, which is, you know what I mean, in modeling terms, that's not a lot, is it? You know what I mean?
No. But I started when I was, I think we all started as little kids as just making a mess. I can remember laying my first bit of ballast, and it was just, I'd probably cringe now if I did it now, but it's all, the ballast was huge, the track was Hornby set track, and I just had to go, and it looks awful, but it's just having a go, isn't it, really?
It is. It's enjoying it at the end of the day. If you don't enjoy it, then why do it? Like, you know what I mean? For me now, I don't go to work. You know what I mean? I never come to work anymore. I come to, I'm modeling. I'm doing what I wanted to do. You know what I mean? It's brilliant.
Yeah. Work gets in my way. Work gets in the way sometimes for me.
yeah. Start getting my way, isn't it? That's the other thing. They're going to keep knocking the door. Go away. Put a curtain over now so they don't think I'm yours. Listen. I mean, we are thinking. We're hoping to have some new premises or move into another premises as well, in the same place, but with a bigger another unit as well. And I'm hoping to have a bigger area, because if I do, then we're gonna. Me and Dean are gonna do Dean's my laser cut designer and 3D designer. We're gonna do a layout live. Yeah, so we're gonna start from scratch. Yeah, you know what I mean? And I've never done a layout ever. I don't know any wiring. I wouldn't know how to put a track down. So it's going to be learn as you guys tell me to. Like, you know what I mean? So it will be live doing it on our YouTube group. You know what I mean? But that's the way to learn. Then, you know what I mean? If I make a mistake, it's live on camera. So I'll get away with it anyway. So somehow, but yeah. You know what I mean? I thought, go on in.
That's what some of our plans are, really. Obviously, with the build here, once I get the baseboard started, I might even try and build a baseboard live. So, if anyone watched the last one I did, I almost put a hole in the kitchen floor. A few people commented about, you put a hole in the floor. Nope, I missed.
No. Yeah, well, listen, we got the laser cutter, so we're gonna sort of design. Get Dean to design a baseboard, you know what I mean, and a few baseboards then. And I said, on my stream as well. Like we're a diorama company as well, so I have to have diorama baseboards as well. Like, you know what I mean. So it gives Dean a chance then to learn how to get a a modular baseboard and stuff like that in together as well. And then we can show it off, and as we build, like, you know what I mean. And then it's about our products. Obviously, it's always going to be our products, unless somebody, you know what I mean, unless Homeby wants to donate a nice logo to us or something like that. You know what I mean? So you never know. I'll have to approach him or something like that. I'm sure Pico's going to donate some track to us, like, you know, considering that the amount of micros that they sold on our behalf. So you know what I mean. So yeah, it's just having a go then, like, you know what I mean, because, you know, scenery wise, yeah, we've got that nailed. But anything else, you know, especially if I come to Warley and, you know, I mean, the shows and stuff like that, and people start asking me about layouts and stuff, I'm like, find Andy, speak to Andy, you know, I haven't got a clue.
Don't find Andy. Andy's enough as it is.
Yeah. I could just see you running around somewhere. I go, there's the one, speak to him. Look.
Find Paul Jones on the information stand.
Yeah.
Ask about soldering.
Yeah. So yeah, it's going to be a challenge. I'm hoping that we can do that this year. You know, I mean, but it's space for us. We are, you know, I mean, each week we just think we need more space. We need more space. The space, like, you know, I mean, and we got, you know, we got quite a lot of room already, like, you know what I mean, but we're just filling it. It's just, you know what I mean, to be fair, which I'm not complaining, you know what I mean. It's a good thing, you know what I mean. So yeah, it's that'll be a laugh. I think that should be a good learning curve, you know what I mean. And at least then I can speak on authority and say, yes, I've built a layout, and like you said, we can, you know what I mean. All depends what standard it's like, mind, before we exhibit it, you know what I mean. So
it's all part of the fun as well. It's, you know, just getting involved and having a go, and you know, it's just enjoying yourself and doing something different. You know, like I know I've spoke to you before. I've built tanks in the past, and it's nothing to do with railway modelling, but you know, I've tried to build one I can incorporate onto my layout as an old disused training area, you know, army training area along on trackside. But again, it's just practicing and having to go at different techniques, which is what, for me, what it's all about. It's not just I can put a train together or I can put a plastic kit together. You know, it's learning new skills and then transferring the new skills to things you already do and what you've done before.
When I first came into the hobby, there was always a talk of there's like your military modelers, or your layout builders, your war gamers, and your dioramas. To be fair, they're all one of the same, apart from maybe a war gamer, which is a figure painter. But we still figure paint. But if you look at people's layouts now, they get into the skills and the products that are out there now. They diorama modelers, and you create dioramas, you know what I mean, pockets of dioramas on your layout, you know what I mean. So they're all one of a kind, like, you know what I mean. And well, I used to think that military modelers were up there for detailing, you know what I mean, within that model. When 10 years ago, I was in shows. I was walking around, and hardly any of them had static grass. Yeah, you know, I mean, it was the old dyed sawdust or teddy bear fur or whoever thought of that. You know, I mean, they needed to keep his teddy bear, I think. You know what I mean? Now you walk around and see the layouts transform because they've got static grass on. I'm not saying it because of that, but it's, you know, I mean, it transforms it massively. Yeah. And now they not just putting grass down. Now they put in a scene within the grass, which is a diorama. You know what I mean? You're creating a diorama then, with, you know what I mean? It sort of blows the layout apart, because you've got. I think we've seen with us in a competition that we run on Facebook group. Craig Shaw that won it. You know what I mean? He put we did a military theme, but he went above and beyond, and it was, you know what I mean, the bits and pieces there. He had figures from Model U, he had Tamiya tanks, he had, you know what I mean, scratch built stuff. But it's a complete a diorama. It's not a layout, it's a diorama on a layout.
Yeah.
I think, and people are coming into it now, especially during this pandemic. People are coming in now and starting to model more as opposed to running the layout. I don't know. Do you get that same thing, Mick? Or
I've never been a person to play trains. I've always been a modeler first. So I can't get my head around spending hours playing trains. And even when I took my layout to Warley, I think it's 2-3 years ago now, Beaverdale, and I when I was left on my own with the layout, I was bored senseless. But when I stood at the front of the layout and I was interacting with the people coming around, especially the kiddies, a couple of the kiddies, I give one of your static grass applicators and go, there you go, you crack on, and they love getting involved and diving in, and a couple of them sort of come underneath the barrier and did a section of static grass and on the layout, and they got such a buzz because they've thought, well, I've done something on this layout now, I've got involved, but I've always been modelling first, and I enjoy the modelling side. And as soon as the model's finished, I'm almost like, next, what do I start? I want to start again, and and that's how I've always been. I'm not sort of a person to sit there playing trains all day. I just get bored with it.
Yeah, we were talking earlier about about the children and stuff like that, and why modelling is not in the curriculum. It's not being taught. It's not being shown. It's not being sold. Like I was saying to you that Games Workshop, which is the war game side of it. Games Workshop, £1.7 billion. Just one company in war games, right? You can have a scout badge with it. You can have a Games Workshop scout badge. They've got involved at that age. They've got them, saying, do this little figure. You can put a scout badge on you to say that you've done it. They can, teachers can ask for kits off them to show it. We should be pushing that as how we would do it, I don't know. But, but I've been in, like I said earlier on, I've been into schools and said, one school as an entrepreneur, and said, well, look, hobby, I left school with no qualifications. I went straight into the army. The age of 18, I went straight into the army. I got no qualifications now. Yet, my talent, I found my talent 10, 13 years ago. Yeah, and we started a company through it. But if I knew that back then that company would have grown a lot bigger, a lot sooner. It wasn't recognised because we don't. The education system are not looking for these people. They're looking for people that run the country. Yeah. This out there, there's people. I never knew that I could paint a model, and move on from this. So, and that's what we should be looking for, and I think hobby modeling, because I think, like I was saying to you, modeling is an art. You look at some people's layouts or some dioramas and stuff like that, they are phenomenal. They are bang on. They film studio type things,
Absolutely.
Who's about amateur modelers? They don't get paid for it, they do it for fun. So you can see the passion in me.
but the main well for me, it is getting youngsters involved. Again, obviously we're here because it's a Warley club. Again, Warley have sort of been doing kids for a quid for the last few years. I think we're one of the first major exhibitions to do reduced, very, very heavily reduced price to let kids in. So all kids are welcome to the Warley show. £1, as long as you've got an adult with you, bring a mum or dad or nana and granddad, and come along to the show, because it's only going to cost £1 to come in. We've got the Warley Junior section, so they're building a layout at the moment. They've got a layout they've built already that's on the exhibition circuit. So this kid, you can join the Warley Club from 12 years of age upwards. And if you live close to the Midlands, you're welcome when the club room is open. You're welcome to come along and get involved. And again, working with Martyn, we've done quite a lot of things with the juniors over the years in terms of static grass applicators we've had off you. So thank you for that. And you've always spent time with the kids. For education reasons, just showing how your products work. So it's always good to have you on board for that.
I always be there as well for the kids, because, like you said, you know what I mean. The school system failed me. You know, I mean, I was just back then. You know, I mean, it was different from now. I suppose it's like, well, apparently, my wife's a school teacher. It's brilliant. It kill me, but no, you know, I mean, but back then it was never. You know, I mean, I was never. Nobody spotted that talent. Nobody brought that talent out to me. You know what I mean? So it's a shame, because there could be people out there who's the next WWS or the next Hornby or the next Pico. You know what I mean? You don't know, do you know? And we need this type of companies coming through all the time, you know what I mean, to support you guys, you know what I mean, who just, you know what I mean, otherwise it dies out. And it's a shame if it dies out, if any modelling dies out, it's a travesty, because it's, you know what I mean, it's such a skill. It should be a craft. It should be, you know what I mean, it should be a degree in it and all sorts of things, like, you know what I mean. University should be begging us to go and say, look, you know what I mean, sure, I'll support it, no problem at all. You know what I mean? I'd love to do. I know we maybe I'm thinking of it from a customer point of view, because I'm breeding a customer, but I'm also prolonging the hobby. You know what I mean? And it's not just model rail; it's modelling. It's the hobby altogether.
Well, we've thought. Well, one of the things we've thought about and spoke about in the club is doing maybe workshops within the club, and people can come along and have a go at modelling sessions. So maybe that's something we could think about doing in the new year. So expanding our open days into like a workshop day, so people can come along and if they bring a piece, you know, a piece of, you know, a small base. So you just need much. You know, something like a piece of birch ply that size, which is just over 12-inch square. So you could build something on it that small. So again, maybe if we speak to the sponsors, once we're allowed to open again, maybe that's something we could look at. Maybe even get Hornby involved and Pico, and might be able to do something from the club room if the interest is there. Especially if, you know, if we've got like youngsters involved and coming along as well, which would be good. So that's something to think about, really.
It is, yeah. I mean, it's, you know, I mean, it only sort of haven't dawned on me. I've been thinking about it for a while, like, you know what I mean, but it's only because we were having a chat earlier on this morning. You know what I mean, that I sort of pushed it as well, like, you know what I mean, but then, you know, you see, like, I know maybe, I mean, Games Workshop is a massive name within the war games. They've got, you know what I mean, they've got the money behind it that they can do, like, you know what I mean, but to be fair to them, you know what I mean, they pushing, they all right, they're maybe looking after themselves in the future, but they're still pushing the hobby at a younger age.
Absolutely. I think the stigma around the hobbies has sort of changed as well. You know, I can remember going to school, and there's no way I would have said to people in my class, "Oh, I build model trains," or "I build models," because I think I'd have been booted around the car park quicker than.
10 years ago, I was working for a particular council, I won't say, right? And they were taking a mickey out of me because I had a set of models sent to work, and instead of it coming straight to me, it went to these other people. You know what I mean? And they were, oh, you're painting figurines, oh, how childish and stuff like that. And you know what I mean? Now I see them and they're like, oh, okay, because I grew a company out of it. Like, you know what I mean? So, but you know what I mean? I was 30 odd, and they were still taking the mickey out of me. Like, you know what I mean? I thought, you know what I mean? So what? You know what I mean? What's the big deal? Like, you know what I mean? It's a hobby. It's something. What do you do? Go home and sit on the couch and watch Netflix? Like, you know what I mean? So back then, you know what I mean? Back then I was watching Netflix, building applicators in my garage. So I watched the whole episode, the whole series of Breaking Bad, making progress.
But even with, you know, that, it's you know, the likes of Pete Waterman, Rod Stewart, Jules Holland, it does give the hobby a lot more credibility, and you know, these guys coming forward and saying, you know, I think Bruce Springsteen has come out and said he's into modelling, and
Superman, the latest Superman. He was, I don't know his name, but he was painting Space Marines. You know what I mean? So painting figures. I know it's not railway related, but he came out. You had Robin Williams, who was the late Robin Williams. He was an advert, a war gamer. He loved wargaming. Yeah, painting figures and playing the game, like, you know what I mean. So they are an advert for us, and we you know what I mean. Like you said, I mean, I know Railway Model had an interview with Rod, didn't it?
Yeah,
I think Steve, Steve interviewed Rod, but then the other magazines, they should be jumping all over these guys.
Well, Rod and Jules Holland have both been to our show.
Yeah,
we get an email from them and say, well, definitely with Jules Holland. Jules Holland was playing in Birmingham, doing a gig, and we got an email come through saying, "I'm going to be in Birmingham over the show weekend. Do you mind if I come to the show?" And like, yeah. So we had to have we let him in through the the private entrance at the rear of the hall, and he come in disguise and walked around all day quite happily. No one would have knew he was there apart from the couple of people that let him in and let him around. He wanted to come as a modeler, not as
he don't want to stand there. Yeah, he don't want to stand there signing autographs, does he? When he wants to look at the layouts.
And to be fair, if he stood next to you, you wouldn't even know it was him because he was in. He's got his hat on and big trench hat on. And, you know what I mean? I think the same with Rod Stewart. Rod Stewart was the same. He turned up and he walked around. He enjoyed his day, and he looked around looked at all the models, enjoyed the modelling, and then left. And that's what it should be about, really. None of us are here to be superstars or fame, or this isn't a hobby to be a celebrity. It's about enjoying your modelling and sharing skills for me.
Well, Rod Stewart, he does a gig and then he hires the room next door and does all his scratch building from there. You know what I mean? So that's his release.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? It is, and it is a release at the end of the day. It's somebody drink bottles of wine. You know what I mean? I still drink a bottle of wine, but I don't, like I said, I don't do much modeling back at home at the moment. Like I said, when I was doing live last week and a week before from the house, I got a kitchen table at the moment. But we are starting our we're starting in the attic conversion, and then I got my own modeling room up there. Then, so it's not big. It's not gonna be big, but I don't need a big thing because I do small little dioramas and stuff like that anyway. I leave the big stuff for here. So.
Well, hoping to have Hornby on in the coming weeks because they've been invited. I spoke to Montana and I spoke to Michael at Hornby, and that's one of the things I think we'll ask him about is trying to get how do we encourage more kids into the hobby and what can we do with them to support that?
Maybe us manufacturers, because we're a manufacturer. Us manufacturers should come together and say, like, what do we do? We've got Premier products, they've got Premier products, and maybe it should be, I don't know, that's an idea. Maybe you can kickstart it with that. We've got a discussion with WWS. They know who we are, I hope.
Maybe if we have it, when we have it, hopefully we have a show in November, we can get everyone together and have a chat going forward, and maybe during the show, maybe meet up before the show opens on the either the Saturday morning or the Sunday morning. I know we have our sponsors meetings and which is our main sponsors meeting, which there's a lot of discussion going on about the show and how we take the show forward. Because obviously we need to keep them on board because the show wouldn't be the show without the likes of Hornby, Batman, Pico. Grant Parish. We need those guys to support the show. Like we need people like you and Justin Scale Model Scenery and so many other people that come along and do such a great job. But yeah, maybe we can think about for the during the show weekend.
Well, like I said, we've never been there as a company. Only as a guest at Pico's, but maybe. Maybe is that we should change that, because I'm pretty sure people will love to see us up there with we're not just out starting grass, but everything else that we do as well. Like, and I mean, so you know what I mean. And you know me in front of house, you gobbing off, you know, gobby Welkman. Love the attention, like, you know, because we do all the BRM, you know, I mean, we do Ali Pali, you know, when we do Peterborough and Doncaster, like, you know, I mean, and we have a fab time, you know, I mean, it's hard work, it's really busy, like, you know, I mean, but yeah, you know, I mean, if we can take the crew up there as well, we have a bit of a laugh and a joke, you know, I mean, and show our products off then as well, you know, I mean, so yeah, there may be something, you know, I mean, like I said, I think it's something that we should do. I think something needs to be done for the kids. I think at the end of the day, because you know, they're out there, they'll come. You know what I mean? You know, Xbox and stuff like that starting to get boring, and you know what I mean. So especially now's the time to do it as well, because they'd be sick of playing Xbox. You know, because they've had a year worth of playing it for nothing. You know what I mean? So
the one thing we've noticed is kids seem to be getting fed up of being on Zoom meetings and. You know, because if they're on Zoom at school for 6 or 7 hours every day, the last thing they want to do is when they finish school or the meetings is to come back out and to be on another computer screen. So to have an outlet like modelling, it's got to be, you know, it's got to be a good thing. And I talked to a lot of our suppliers. When I spoke to Richard at DCC Concepts, the one thing he said to me was, coming out of the lockdown, was that a lot of people are buying a soldering iron, but they're not just buying a soldering iron. They're buying the soldering iron, they're buying the solder, they're buying the flux, they're buying wire, they're buying the full package. So to him, that says it's not a model the soldering iron. It's someone buying a startup package. Yeah. So it must be people coming into the hobby and which is good.
Yeah. The hobby is, you know, I mean, we've grown exponentially. You know, what I mean, we've gone woof like that, and it's, you know, I mean, it's like you said, starter kits are selling really, really well. The questions are coming through are how, you know, I mean, I just bought this. How do I start? That type of thing. I mean, or the videos have gone through the roof because people are watching it and stuff like that. So yeah, there's a lot more people coming back into it, and like you said, there's so many people being stuck behind a computer screen. They're going to want to use their hands. They're going to want to do something different. Like, and I mean, and what better to do it than a hobby? Than our hobby. You can't, you know, I mean, use your hands and you know, and your brains to produce something, and you get something at the end of it. You know what I mean?
Well, obviously we're talking about starter kits. What do you get in a WWS starter kit for static grass? So if you're new into the hobby, what do you get in that pack? So
one of our most successful products, is the ProGrass Micro. Yeah, between us and Pico, we must have sold tens of thousands. Yeah, I didn't think there's many modelers out there, right? You know what I mean? But we have, and we continually to sell them as well, right? So the starter kit, you know, I mean, you're certainly going to get a micro, right? I mean, at 55 quid. My lovely presenter, my lovely apprentice, my lovely presenter for you. I mean, assistant, Angela. You get the basic glue. You get, you know, I mean, I certainly go for the micro if you're a beginner, because that is the most forgiving applicant you got. Yeah, you get your glues, your layering spray, and we were the ones that brought out the layering system. Yeah, you know, I mean, you go from your 2 mil, 4 mil, 6 mil, 10 mils. You know, what I mean, and layer it up so to get the grass effect. So you want your glues, you know, I mean, your base glue to start off with, right? And a base glue, I use it for everything. Yeah, and I use it for gluing balsa together. You know, I mean, putting the barnacles on there. Yeah, that stuff is phenomenal. Right? It's a really good white glue, right? Not just static grass. It's a good white glue, right? But it goes off quickly, as you know, Anne. Right? Then the layering spray. Yeah, that's so forgiving. Again, use your layering spray to layer it up. And then you get a selection of grasses to start you off. Yeah, so it's little packs of grass, just because that's my idea of what you should start off with, but it's not your idea. You know, I mean, at the end of the day, is grass is not for what I tell you. You know, I mean, it's what you see, what you want it to look like. At the end of the day, you know, I mean, and what we've done at WWS, what Mark and I done, is try to make it as easy as you can by making the colours of the grass and calling them closely what they want to. It's like patchy grass was going to call cat pea grass, but we couldn't get away with that, so we had to come with cat. I think eBay would have gone nuts on us. I think so. We came up with patchy grass, but it's not to say that it's patchy grass. It's a brown grass that can be used, to break that green up. As you know, grass is not green. You need different colours to bring it up. So we're probably the biggest in the world with the range that we've got. Yeah. I don't think there's anybody else out there that's got as much as the grass as we have. Like we got a full warehouse made of tons worth of stuff. Yeah, and we've tried to cover it from really, really vibrant bright grass, because that's what it was when we first come onto the scene, to the muted colours now, like your muddies and your North Euros and stuff like that, where people are using a lot more now. And we've noticed there's people are demanding a lot better colours, if you know what I mean, and because they're getting more used to it now, they're becoming experts within it. Yeah, and the techniques, like I say, about scrunching it up and roughing it up or something underneath it, that which then gives them different tints, which they want them different tints. And there's we're certainly seeing at WWS, we're certainly seeing people being braver in what the colours that they're using, which is great. It's great. That's what it's for. Use it. Be as rough and random as you possibly can. You get the best results. You know what I mean? Go on, mate. Go on.
I said the other thing a lot of people do now is people are using the eyes more. I can remember 10, 15 years ago, like you said, it was just sawdust with painted green and sprinkled onto the boards. But people are going out now and using the real world as an example, and they're trying to replicate the real world rather than just this is what we've always done and this is how we've always done it in the past, or this is how my granddad did it in 1940 something. Well, things have changed now. Things are, technology moving forward. It's so good for the hobby.
You're going from that 2D look to that 3D look to that realism now, anyway. You know what I mean? So, and the fact that static grass, if you put it on top of that dyed sawdust, the results you get because of that going on top of it is phenomenal. It's even better than going onto a smooth baseboard. You know what I mean? So don't rip anything up. Go over the top of it because it makes it look so much better.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Yeah, it does. And you're right. People are, the demand that we are getting now to say we want it better. And I don't think we're going to get better than static grass. I don't think, unless you put an electric charge in it and it starts waving a guy as your local goes past, the chances of that, I'm working on it, but I'm not that good. So
no excuse, man. No excuse, man. Get a grip of yourself.
Yeah, it's a pathetic excuse, that is, Martyn, for God's sake. No, I don't think there's going to be another product out there that is going to represent grass as good as static grass is right now. And not only that, there's so many layouts and models and that has grass on it. Everywhere you look, even if you say I've got a full concrete or full mud patch and stuff like that, there'll always be a bit of grass somewhere. Yeah, I will tell you, I will take you anywhere, and there will even the desert of grass, because we got desert grass. So, it will always be grass.
The other good thing I've noticed with the amount of choice you've got now is, and again, people like Pico, Gauge Master, with the photographic back scenes, your grass is almost blended into your back scene now, so it makes your back scene jump out and stand out more because everything sort of flows into.
And I don't think it's a fact that we've gone out and copied the back scenes. It's not the case. I've never used a back scene. I think once just for photo purposes, Black Yay Wonder. You know what I mean? But I think it's the fact that the people who are producing back scenes now are looking at our grass or looking at grass and saying we have to match that, because you get that seamless look now as well. You know what I mean? So it's a compliment to us, I suppose, because we've got that standard of product that people are saying, right, okay, well, we need to match that. And I've seen it. I've seen it on Sam Jones, Peak 47. His seamlessly, boom, straight in from the muddy grass, straight to his back scene, and it's perfect. You know what I mean? And you think, well, it looks real. You know what I mean? Which comes back to the fact of this is why in this being taught in school as education, or as a qualification. You know what I mean? Because you've got people out there, you know what I mean, and people doing CG now, but you've still got model makers, you know what I mean. They've got Harry Potter, you know what I mean. If you go down there, there's a massive castle built. Yeah.
Again, I've been to the studio, and the model making is absolutely amazing for that. It's the same sort of thing as robo modeling. If you look at in a couple of the cabinets, they've got the models in different stages of construction. So you've got from the very start, just a cardboard mock-up, right through to the finished build. And again, you might not be into Harry Potter, but just to go for the modeling, it's worth it. And again, if it brings people into the hobby, you know, Hornby with the Harry Potter train set, again, it brings people into the hobby, and they might start with a Harry Potter train set, but hopefully they'll move on to building a viaduct, a station, whatever, you know, and then they start adding more detail to it, and a castle, and you know, it's all about you know, educating people and bringing people into the hobby. And once they start, it's expanding and getting, and hopefully it'd be nice if people go back to scratch building, and instead of just buying a resin model to plonk on the layout, is to build something that's personal to them.
Well, I know when I started scratch building, I've done scratch building for obviously for model purposes, for us to on the laser cutters, or you know, I mean, or to make kits. But like I said on my stream earlier on, is that what I try to do is, if I'm making a kit or if I'm making something, I don't want you to go, "Oh, bought it, thank you very much, plonk it on." I want you to model it. I can make it. I can make it as good as you wanted to. Like, you know what I mean? Well, what's the point? I'd rather you buy the kit of me and spend the time and build it. You know what I mean? And enjoy building it, because that's you modeling then. You know what I mean? And that's what's important to me, is to model, not to just buy plug and play, they call it. You know what I mean? And stick it down. And that's not, you know what I mean? Maybe if you haven't got time and you just want to, and you're into, like you said, running trains and running your you know what I mean, your stock. But you know what I mean, most people now are starting to model. You know what I mean? Because it's more interesting now, because you're not putting down the dye sawdust and stuff like that. You know what I mean? You're making a scene. You know what I mean? And when your local goes past that field that you've just done, and you're in a certain angle and you catch all the different colours and stuff like that with that local going past, there's your nostalgia kicking in straight away. Then, you know what I mean? So yeah.
So going back to, you know, obviously before, as a kid, what was your interests growing up, Martyn? But you know, before you went in the army and got.
So, you know, I played a bit of rugby. Yeah, you know, as a Welshman, you know what I mean. I tried to play. I was 5 or 6 year old, something like that, and they said, "Come and play football," and I didn't have a clue. I cried my eyes out and ran home. But then rugby, I sort of got into that, and I wasn't great. You know what I mean? I did a bit. I had a Hornby track. I don't think it was Hornby. It was something like that. I had an Intercity 125 oval as a kid. I didn't get into that. I didn't play into that. I did when I was about coming into a teenager. Then I started building like Spitfires and Lancasters, and I enjoyed painting them. And then I just sort of I just went out of anything. I just didn't do. You know what I mean? I started going out then, I suppose, you know what I mean, out on the streets and messing around and playing football with the boys and stuff like that. And so I didn't have a hobby as such. You know what I mean? So then I obviously went in the army, came out, played around a bit as well, just what I call it, and then met Mark. You know what I mean? We all lived together. Like, you know, I say lived together in the area, in a village that we what I call it. There was 3 of us. One of my mates is working for us now as well. And Mark said one day, if we ever heard of Warhammer, and we went down and said, you know, I took him down there when he was recovering, because Mark's recovering from cancer. Fair play to him. We went down to a games workshop in Swansea. He made me spend 60 quid, the basket. And I painted up a squad of goblins, put them on eBay and doubled our money. And ever since then, the company's paid for itself. You know what I mean? So, and we just went up and up and up and up, and from there, like, you know what I mean? So so it's only recently that I've had a hobby, and when I say recently, in the last 15 years, really, you know what I mean? So, yeah, it's I didn't really we're gonna have an interest. I was in the Air Cadets, believe it or not.
And me.
Yeah, I did that. Yeah. They started off with RAF regiment then, which is for the Air Cadets, and I went into there. I was there for about a year. I went Bryce Norton and went flying and shooting. I enjoyed that. You know what I mean? And obviously, I must have enjoyed it. I went to join the army. So,
Yeah. So why did you join the army instead of the Air Force?
You can't ask me that. Can't say things like that. No, I just. So my stepdad was Royal Artillery. And obviously he was King's Troop as well, so he did ceremonial duties and stuff like that. And so I joined the Royal. I sort of loved that. I got the passion from there. I knew that I wasn't going to get any qualifications, so I thought, well, you know, I mean, I had a couple of jobs as a teenager, the YTS, remember the old YTS schemes and stuff like that. Yeah, you know, I mean, there's some nostalgia there, like, you know what I mean. So I did sort of YTS things on there, kitchen fitting and window fitting. I just couldn't fit in. You know, I mean, I was restless and couldn't take telling, believe it or not. And I wasn't, you know, I mean, I was a scrawny little runt. You know, I mean, I wouldn't say boo to a goose, and I was bullied at school as well. You know, I mean, you know, I mean, severely bullied as well. Like, you know, I mean, so if school let me down, if you know what I mean, big style. So I thought, like, okay, I'm 17, 18. I either was going to go down a slippery road, or I said, no, I'm going to take control of my life now because I'm not, you know, I mean, I don't want to go down that road. And joined the army. Best thing I ever did. Best thing. It totally turned me around. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? I was a regimental boxer. I was a regimental rugby player. I've been to Ireland twice. I've been to Bosnia. I was promoted in record time. I took the duck to water. You know what I mean? But it wasn't something that I wanted to do all my life. I didn't want to devote 22 years to it because I didn't want to get married. I wanted kids. I wanted a wife and stuff like that. But I didn't want to get married in there. So 6 years later, then I met my wife. You know what I mean? My wife to be then. You know what I mean? Kath. And we've never looked back since. You know what I mean? And I think it's 25 years we've been together now. So, you know what I mean? And my boy is 18 tomorrow. So, you know what I mean? And he's working next door. As happens, he can't get he started off as an apprenticeship as an electrician, and the apprenticeship let him down. And obviously he can't get one now through lockdown. So I got him in here. He's packing Pico. Yeah, so he's getting paid. So there's not free labour. Trust me, it's not child labour. He's not child till tomorrow, I suppose. But so and obviously then, you know, I mean, I did a few when I came out. I had a few jobs. I placed doctors into NHS trusts. I've worked in warehouses. I was the senior buyer for Swansea City Council. So I've done a few jobs when I came out. I still couldn't settle. Until now, you know what I mean? And we've been, Mark and I have had this, 10 years? And I would never look back. You know, I mean, now I don't work. You know, like I said, it's a joy to come to work now. Like, you know what I mean? Yeah. So that's my life story, honest.
but the army, it gives you good grounding, doesn't it? Even going back to the Air Cadets, it gives you good grounding for life. It sets you up in the right direction with hopefully the right sort of aims, and you know.
It gives you discipline, and it gives you focus. Back then, when I was in, you know, I mean, obviously, when you left, they just went, off you go, sort off. Thank you very much. And you're out. You come out, and especially if you're a junior leader, and you know, I mean, you're not. They look after when you're in there. They pay all your bills. They feed you. They look after you. So you know, what I mean, so when you come out, you're like, what do you mean I got to pay you rent?
What's that? I only pay a mess bill once a week.
Yeah, exactly. You know what I mean? What do you mean? You know what I mean? So they didn't prepare you for that. I think now is a lot better. Now the career side of it when they come out, it's always, you know, I mean, back then everybody's got the back then story, in there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But no, it was. You know, I mean, it changed me big style. You know, what I mean, I was, like I said, I wouldn't say boo to a goose. and I was very shy and timid, a very timid person. But I went in, and I went straight to Northern Ireland. It was baptized by fire, and yeah, I loved it. I absolutely loved it. I want to change it, But I said I wasn't going to be there full time. I didn't want to. I wanted a civilian career as well. So I sort of used it to become the man that I am. And then and then come out and say, right, okay, let's build a. And luckily, like I said, my partner Cal, my wife Kath, she's a school teacher. And she's so supportive. We've done it together, really. So yeah, it's good. Go for your goals. At the end of the day, go for them. You just like I said with kids as well. Try everything and anything. Don't ever say I can't. Do it. You've got to go for it. So it's the same as modeling. You train it, go for it, because you never know.
Never know what to expect.
Yeah, no, exactly. What about you then, mate? I don't know a lot about you, to be honest. Other than you.
Well, I started off. I suppose my interest in the railway started off as a 3-4-year-old. We used to go on holiday to Teignmouth, down in Devon, and we used to spend to get me to go for a walk. We used to go to walk along the track, the railway line on the seafront, and we used to do it every night. And I'd walk along top of the wall, and I'd just be there waving at all the drivers. And so my memories are really just HST after HST after HST. And I think from about my 4th birthday, I had a Hornby HST set for me, but for Christmas, and that was, I suppose, the highlight for me. But I think it was my dad buying it for himself because, typical parents, you can sit on the stool and watch, but you can't touch. So I suppose my train set started. I suppose it started with an over the track as 2-3-year-old, and it just grew from there. And again, I was the same. But you go through the playing with train stage, then you go to then you all of a sudden discover girls and football girls and going out clubbing, and then you get to a stage in life where I think it was probably YouTube. When it first really started, there was only really Everard Junction and Dean Park, and I started watching Everard Junction videos of his last layout, and I was amazed at the detail and the quality of what people were modelling now, because again, it was just back, sawdust and PVA glue if you're lucky. And it just grew from there, and I sort of thought, okay, I've still got the stuff. So I went around my dad, and he dug all my stuff out from the loft, and I brought it home. So I moved into this house then. So we're talking 15, 16 years ago. And then I joined Warley, and it didn't sort of work out the first time I went. So I only went a couple of times, but I was still too busy. I was probably still chasing girls and partying and going to the pub. But then I sort of, obviously I got talking to David at Dean Park, and we've become mates. And we both started the channel about the same time. Obviously, David's channel's gone on to massive thing. Same as Everard, they're both massive channels now. They've got over 100,000 subscribers between the two of them, which is pretty big for channels. And the modelling skills have grown massively. And then I went back to Warley and I got involved. And at the time when I first went, I was running a squadron, a cadet squadron at the time as well. So my life was so busy with running, because that was like a full-time. That was like a full-time job as well. So obviously things changed at the Air Cadets, and that got me more involved with the organising of the show and the management of the show. So I was invited to meetings, and then I threw, let's have a club YouTube channel at them, which a few of them was like, oh yeah, this sounds, this is interesting. Let's have a go. And a few members, the older members, was, oh, we don't do that. So it's sort of I had to convince them that it was a good idea. And luckily, Paul Jones, who was the exhibition manager at the time, really got behind the idea of a YouTube channel. And I can remember making the first video at the club. We did a walk around the club, and it's just grown from there. And we've gone from that to having over just under 4,000 subscribers now on the Warley channel. And we're now doing lockdown live videos and trying to keep entertained and interesting.
Well, you're bigger than me, man. I got just under 2,000 at the moment. So you know what I mean. But as a manufacturer, that's that's not too bad considering that we're only now starting to take it seriously. You know what I mean. So you know what I mean. We will grow, and I'll get some good products out. And like we said, I've done lockdown live because modeling with Martyn lockdown live, not because I'm showing products off, because I'm not. I'm literally you've been there and. We just modeling and chewing the fat. That's all I'm doing. Just exactly the same what we're doing now. And every now and then I'm doing a bit of modeling. You know what I mean? So,
and that's the thing for us. We aren't a big multimedia technical people. We're just modelers. And that's when I come on tonight or today. I spent 20 minutes trying to get the bloody thing to work, and it's like. But we're not modelers. We're modelers. We're not. We're not. We haven't got we haven't got the backing of a magazine behind us. We just enjoy ourselves and we wing it.
Yeah, I literally. I spent last week and the week before doing a bit of research to try and get it because obviously we film and editing films and stuff like that. I try to make it as quick as sleek as you possibly can. We haven't got the right cameras, but so what? As long as my it's engaging and you guys keep enjoying it and stuff like that, then that's all it's for.
That's it.
Like I said, YouTube for me is not a profitable thing. It's just to showcase my products, but more importantly, to have a bit of fun with you guys. Because we're modelers. Like you said, I'm a modeler. I'm not a businessman. I brought somebody in to be a businessman for me. Now I got you crack on that side of it. I'm modeling.
So we've got 18 people watching at the moment. Does anyone have any questions for Martyn or myself? If you want to ask a question and put it in the comment section, we'll read them out and we'll try and answer them if we can.
Yeah,
so anyone's got any questions for us? Apparently, Anne Diamond has a model railway.
Anne Diamond. Remember her?
I can remember her, yeah. Good morning.
Good morning, TV. Good morning, TV. Yeah. Good God, Anne Diamond.
TV, was it TV AM? Something like that.
Yeah, it could have been. Anne Diamond. You want to see her layout?
I've never. That's a name I've never heard. To be fair, in modelling, Anne Diamond.
There's some closet modelers out there.
But apparently, one of the hairy bikers is a modeler as well.
No way. We'll have to find out.
I don't know which one. I don't know if it's Simon or Dave. Is it David? I know one's Simon. But apparently one of those is a modeler. So again, it'd be interesting to get them. I think Steve Flint's trying to get him to come out of the closet and admit it, but I think Steve's working on that one at the moment.
Yeah, Steve Haynes is not. I know for a fact, 100%, he's not a modeler. He's not.
Steve Haynes?
Yeah, he's like, no, I know for a fact he's not. He talks a good model, but
I don't know if anyone's watched the Pico video we had done for the Warley event. Steve was in the video, and that was a fantastic video. And it's definitely worth a watch. It's be on the Warley channel. It's also on Pico TV. But Steve took us a walk around Pico and what's going on, how they're coping with lockdown and still producing. That's a really good video. So Keith's asking, static kits, starting kits for static grass. Do I
need to start a?
Yeah, probably. I need the rest of the weekend.
Yeah, you need to start. We've been down to Pico a few times, Mark and I, and obviously I'm on Pico TV as well, and we were filmed down there. Who's now a good mate of mine, Kevin, the cameraman, as we call him. Yeah, he phones me up on a regular saying, "Look what I done! Look what I done!" You got a massive shed, and obviously you can imagine his cameras. One of his cameras is like 40 grand or something like that. Like he's a BBC cameraman as well, so he's a freelance BBC. So he owes me a few favours. So I said to him, once lockdown's down, you get your butt up here because you're setting me up and properly and showing me what to do properly. So we are going to have an expert in soon, but I don't know when. You know what I mean? So whenever the lockdown's down, like, you know what I mean? So
yeah, but it might be good to get Kevin up into the. If we can do something in the club room, maybe you get Kevin up there and see if he's he can help us with the back in the club room when we can open up again.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he is. He's he's a modeler as well. You know what I mean? He's a good modeler as well. To be fair to him as well. Like, you know what I mean? If we I'll tell him, I'll suggest it to him, and he'll listen to me. I think.
Yeah,
because he listen to me, because I'll just go down there. You know, he's like, come on now, if you want some more.
But if we can get all our sponsors involved on the day, it'll make it be quite interesting for him to come along, because you can get you can incorporate everyone into the video really. So yeah, it'd be good.
I can't afford your prices. I'll sponsor a cup of tea. How's that?
I'll bring the tea or coffee. I don't mind now. So, any questions for Martyn then?
Yeah, I'm not that famous, you see. Montana on here now, you'd have about 153,000 people on.
I don't have many viewers. Oh dear. So the best memory for me is when I obviously did the show with. Last time we did the show, we did a video with Stuart. Well, Stuart was recording for me, and we were trying to interview Montana, and some woman decided to walk round, following me round as I was recording. And then she decided to jump in between me and Montana while I was interviewing. I don't know if she was interviewing me or me interviewing her. And she stood right in the middle of the two of us, looking at this family fun project. And Stuart's behind the camera again to, disappear. So she disappeared off camera and stood behind me. So I stepped back and I sent her absolutely flying. And we were both on the floor. And poor Montana was laughing, well, trying not to laugh. And she kept going and kept, that for me was one of the highlights of the show. For in fact, I was interviewing, poor Montana, and I was in hysterics on the Hornby stand. And again, when we had I was interviewing Simon from Hornby, and Dave Watson was helping out, and we couldn't get David onto the video because everyone kept coming over. David's live on video, and people coming up to shake his hand and talking to him, and then we had another bloke making sound effects in the background, and okay, but no, it's all part of the fun, isn't it?
So one of the memories I've got, our first ever Warley show with people, we were on Pico stand, and it was like it was the end of Sunday, and obviously Steve Haynes invited us up, knowing that because he wanted to see how good the demos went, and we were like inundated constantly. The Pico stand has been the busiest as ever was. We had traders coming up and thanking us for being there because they had record sales of static grass and stuff like that as well. And so we were talking to Steve, and a bloke walked past, and he came back, shook my hand. He said, "You know what?" He said, "That's the best demonstration of the whole weekend. Thank you very much." And walked off. And Steve's face was a treat. Me and Mark just looked at him and just burst out laughing because he was like, "Did you just pay him a £5 to say that?" I swear. I said, "What a guy!" It was peachy, absolutely peachy. It was. He couldn't have gone better, because we were obviously trying to impress people, and stuff like that, because they only just took us on, So yeah, it was so funny. It was so funny. That's my memory of because Steve's face was the best. Actually, maybe that's right. Well, yeah, like you said, it was a sort of a yesterday thing. But you text me yesterday and say, "Can we do it?" And we still said last week, though, didn't we? But,
yeah, the problem is, I posted to say I was going to be on the original stream an hour before we went on. I went onto Facebook and said this is going to happen. I posted something yesterday, I think, to say we're going to do it, and then we obviously it was all working fine, and then everything sort of stopped working, and had to close the stream down and start again. So I don't think that's not really helped the situation. But again, it's not about. Ideally, we want lots of viewers and more people to watch, but this will be here for evermore on the YouTube channel, so you can always go back and watch it and enjoy it. Hopefully, if you're not available during the day because working, some people have got to work, and we will be back next Wednesday, hopefully at 2:00. It will work and from the start. And
I do mine in the mornings. So.
you as Martyn, you want. So
yeah,
have you got any of your laser cut items around to show us, or
say again? Sorry.
Have you got anything from your laser cut items to show or to share?
Not the hand, I'm afraid. They're all in the design room, and it'll take me 10 minutes or 5 minutes to go back and forth. I do apologize. I've got, the project that I'm working on, for just for the live show, for the live, it's just the painted techniques that I was doing on here, but I'll bring it up so I can show you. Talking about Kevin, he's phoning me now. See, I told you, he's honest to God. Look at it. So that's something that I'm sort of doing, sort of like a fishing scene, or a port or something like that type of thing. So yeah, but I'm just doing the like I said, the weathering type thing, and I got a bit of weathering around the doors that I've done. I hoping I was going to do a lot more today, but you're surprised how many people, when people start talking on the streams and stuff like that. It's good content coming through, and you're forever looking at that, talking to them, and So yeah, it's a bit of fun. It is, the streams are doing well. I think the lockdown is sort of, people tend to be putting me on in the background. Yeah, and they're modeling, and like yourself, probably modeling and just listening then, and then commenting then when they pick something up. So yeah, it's not for me. It's not it's not pitching my products and stuff like that. It's the sanity, I think. I'm working.
It's also a bit of conversation, a bit of banter during the day, and if you're stuck in the house on your own all day, and it's nice to have someone to have a chat with and talk to and have a laugh with, and keeps you sane almost.
Yeah, it does. He's nagging. Kev's nagging me for products. He doesn't go on to YouTube and stuff like that. He's a cameraman and doesn't go on to YouTube. Come on. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you need to sort that one out. Come on, Kevin.
Yeah, for God's sake. So we've got a good 5 hours worth of being on YouTube today. So I'm quite happy with that, to be honest. It was 2.5 hours with me and an hour and a half with yourself, mate. It's pretty good. Yeah, man, I'm not going to be able to speak tomorrow, so I think probably some people think that's a blessing. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I've got to do a food shop tomorrow, so I'd much rather be stuck in front of a computer and go walking around Morrison's on other supermarkets are available.
Yeah, exactly. I know. So I'm taking my boy to buy me a beer for the first time ever. You know what I mean? So
are your pubs open, man, by you, or are you in lockdown?
we are in full lockdown. We've been in lockdown a lot longer than England, to be honest. We were 2 weeks before Christmas. We were in lockdown, and then and that's it. We've been ever since then. You know what I mean? And there's no sign of it coming out either. To be honest, I don't think we're not going to release anything until the vaccines are almost up and running. You know what I mean? A lot of people have been done. Like,
yeah, we've had a few members sort of get at least the first vaccination, but the thing with the club is it is made up of lots of older people, really. We've got a lot of the over 55, 60 age group, right through to 70, 80-year-olds. So if you are interested, just if you want to join the Warley Club, just get in contact with me. Send me a message on Facebook, or email me through secretary@warleymrc- I can't remember my email address now.
Facebook him.
secretary@warley-mrc.org.uk. So drop me an email if you want to join. It's as low as £20, £25 a year to become an associate member. You got all the access to the club. You can come as an associate member. You can visit the club up to 8 times in a calendar year. So if you live further away, it's ideal. But it gives you access to the show. You can help at the show. If you got any IT skills, please join.
Any YouTube experience?
It's all part of being joining the community and helping out. And you can come and join us on streams and show us what you're doing. And it's all part of the sharing the skills and the hobby.
Yeah,
so there you go. But no, it's all good thing. It's all good, isn't it? Really.
It's all good, Dan. It's all good, mate.
So, have you got any future plans? What's other than the layout? What's your next build going to be after the this sort of fishing boat scene?
I'm right into scratch building right now, so that's 1/35 that I'm doing there. So I'm gonna go down to 00 gauge. It's all for scale for our boys. Like I said, we got Dave is a war gamer, so it's 28 mil, and Dean is a mechanic. You know what I mean? So to be fair, I know scale now, but I'm one of the only ones that's got an idea of scale anyway. So I want to start building buildings and showing them right. That's that scale. That's that scale. So all our photographers, all our our salespeople, all our customer service people can look at these buildings and go, right, that's what that size. That's what that size is. So I'm thinking of doing maybe a 00 gauge scene. Maybe a street scene, and I'm very much old school. I'm not a new age or modern time. I love the nostalgia look of all the old buildings and stuff like that. So, and I love American buildings. They're such a, they're simple to do. If you look at a British one, Edwardian or whatever it is, Victorian, not a chance. I'm not an architect. So, I like simple builds where you can get good results out of. I prefer to do do a simple build, but put the detail in then with the weathering and the signage. Somebody told me that I wanted to put a sign on the side of the building, which is called ghost signs. Yeah, so I want to try and do that. I want to do different techniques. So then, it'll then aid us as a company later on because I've learned it. And I can teach then other people within the company. And then possibly sell it as down further on down the line. So there's a couple of 00 gauge scenes I want to do. And if I scratch build, then it comes to Dean then when he does his scratch aid, which is like our basic buildings, which then you guys then can or add extra detail on top of it. That type of thing. There's wraps that we're looking at as well. We're talking to a few people now, and trying to get a decent printer. There's nothing worse than having crap wraps sent out with stuff like So I want to make sure that we got a quality printer, not a pants one. There's lots of things. Lots of things. We got the 3D printers which we haven't released yet. There's a good range of that coming out. So 00 gauge street scatter. So telephone boxes, bins, you know what I mean, that type of thing. They are due to be released this month, next month. And not 100% of the schedule. Nobody tells me anything. So, like I said, I'm checking my room and nobody's paying for me. I get an email, where are you? Like, you know. So yeah, we got some really good, some interesting products coming out. We got a good foliage range coming out. Yeah, so the sponge scatter foliage range. We got some of it out already, you know what I mean? But we got some nice colours come in, yeah, and they are a good quality as well. So that's coming out shortly. There's our careful. What is it now? I got modelling metals later on in the year. That's interesting. That's going to be an interesting thing. That's all I can say about that. I'm waiting for some news, and I'm waiting to go. We have to go out to lockdown first to do all this. So I can't tell you anything about this because I'll get undrawn. But it's a massive move for Warley Phoenix, WWS Phoenix. You know what I mean, and hopefully it'll be you know what I mean. Hopefully it's going to be huge. What else have I got? We got possible paint range that we're looking at as well. Our own paint range. More different types of tufts. You know, we're always going to have stuff like that coming out. I'm not going to make any more grass. I need to protect it now. I think there's no more applicators. I think we've sort of done that as well. You know what I mean? We got different types of glues and super glue range coming out. So we're catching up on the other stuff as well. We got tools coming out. That's so on and so forth. You know what I mean? And obviously the other company then, which is Warley Gaming, that's still in its infancy, and Dave is pushing that with some different designs as well. As I mean, so as a bigger company, like as Warley Limited, you know what I mean, we got about 3 or 4 different companies that are going different angles now as well. I mean, so yeah, it's going great. It's going, you know what I mean, we got some really exciting plans. I know Scratch Age 2 is coming out shortly as well. Dean's almost finished that. So yeah, and then obviously the Muds and Waters as well, which we've done as well on top of that. So yeah, so
it's really exciting times, then, isn't it?
So, yeah, we got a year's worth of stuff ready to go. You know what I mean? We will be looking at a tree range. You know what I mean? And then maybe possibly some models and maybe some vehicles as well and things like that. We don't know yet. We're thinking of that. You know what I mean? But something to complement what we do as a company and what we make. We're certainly not going to shy away from other companies, bringing in other companies as well. You know what I mean? So yeah, we'll see. We'll see. You know what I mean? Everything's in the air at the moment because of Brexit. You know what I mean? That's, believe it or not, that has pushed a lot of companies backwards. Like, you know what I mean? If not most of British companies, because I promised I wasn't going to mention Brexit, but damn it.
But the one thing we started doing last year was the Warley visits, and we got to go down to Hornby. I can't remember it was last. Might have been the year before. I lose track of time now. But we've been down to Hornby and Margate. Last year we were due to go to Pico. A weekend down in Pico with the 2 Steves and and Callum, hopefully. And obviously, Brexit lockdown sort of put that on hold. And hopefully, if we can come and visit you, especially if you're in new premises and
So there's not. I mean, Pico and Home, we're really exciting. We're just a factory. You know what I mean? I'm more than welcome to come down. You know what I mean? I got no qualms with that at all. I'd love to see people come down here, but we generally are just a factory. So there it is. They just always shut the door. You know what I mean? And then me just showing you up to my room or something like that. You know what I mean? But but it is. You know, I mean, we don't. Hornby and Pico have been years and years and years, and they've got that nostalgia that they can, that come down and have a look. You know what I mean? I can show you bags of grass. So no more than what people. And I've asked lots of people want to come down and see us. The thing with us is that we are, we're South Wales, and we are sort of tucked away in a arse end of. You know what I mean?
It's not as bad as getting to Margate, because Margate for me is, even though I live in the Midlands, is the arse end of nowhere. To be fair, you go around the M25 thinking I'm not far away now. You get on the A2, I'm not far away now. You get to Canterbury, and it's like still an hour to go. So that's something I would not miss, is drive to Margate again.
No, it's more than welcome to come down and stuff like that. We do love to see people. I mean, obviously we get we turn, not now, they're not doing it, but you know, I mean, when lockdown 1 first came in, we had to turn people away because you know, I mean, and Swansea Club is always, you know, I mean, some of the members always used to come up here and you know, I mean, chew the fat with us. We've got no shop, you know, I mean, we don't. There's no shop with us. It's just literally is a out and out factory. We just, you know, I mean, the guys are busy beaving it away, you know, I mean, packing stuff like that. It is, you know, I mean, it's just racks and racks and racks of product, you know what I mean? So, and obviously storage space. But like I said, hopefully we got you know, I mean, another space available. Fingers crossed. But other than that, you know, I mean, we spread out, and we've had to spread out as well because of, you know, I mean, the pandemic. We made as soon as we had a unit available, we went straight for it to obviously protect the staff as well. Like, you know what I mean? So we are spread out in 3, 4, 5 different units. Like, you know what I mean? So it's weird. Yeah, it's quite hard work. You walk miles. Yeah.
That's all good. No, but it's been good talk to you, Martyn. We've been on for over an hour and a half now, so I think unless anyone's got any questions to throw at us, I think we might I think we'll finish there. If that's okay with you.
Yeah, that's good. I get a bit hoarse now after 5 hours worth of life.
Yeah, my coffee is more than cold, but still.
Yeah.
I know it's been great spending time with you, Martyn. Thank you very much, and thanks to everyone who's been watching and joining us today. We'll be back. We will be back next week, next Wednesday, with another interview, with another chat with another modeler. So hopefully we'll have something to show you and show you some techniques. And we look forward to what's new coming from WWS and your applicators and your 3D printing and everything you're doing. So
stay safe, everybody.
Stay safe and see you next week.
Yeah, lovely. Thanks, Aaron.
See you later.
Ta-ra.